My wife told me she's not my property, so I stopped treating her like my responsibility and let her fall apart. I, 34M, have been married to my wife, Kira, 32F, for a little over 7 years. We met when I was 26 and she was 24. I was already working full-time at an IT firm, doing okay financially, while she was in grad school pursuing a degree in journalism. Back then, I was smitten by her, strong, smart, opinionated, the kind of woman who could light up a room with her words. I liked that she had a backbone, or so I thought. The first couple of years were great. We supported each other, took turns cooking, paid bills together. Well, I paid most of it, but that never really bothered me. I wanted her to focus on building her career. I thought we were a team. Then something changed around year 4. Kira got a job at a mid-tier media company. Suddenly, everything became about her independence. Don't get me wrong, I respected her success. I was proud of her, but she started twisting that pride into something ugly. If I reminded her to pick up groceries or asked her to help clean up the kitchen, she'd roll her eyes and say, "You're not my boss." If I asked her where she was going late at night with her friends I barely knew, she'd throw the "I'm not your property" line at me. That particular sentence became her catchphrase, like a weapon she loved to use whenever I had the nerve to question her behavior. "You're not my dad. I don't need permission to live my life. I'm not your property. I married you. I didn't sell myself to you." Every time she said it, it chipped away at me. I wasn't trying to control her. I was trying to maintain a relationship. One that's based on communication and shared responsibilities. But according to her, I was just being insecure or old-fashioned. The fights got more frequent. I'd come home after a 10-hour shift and find dishes in the sink, laundry piled up, and her sitting on the couch scrolling through Instagram, drinking wine, complaining about how draining her job was. I'd ask her if she could at least start dinner, and she'd say, "It's not the 1950s. Make your own damn food." She started spending nights out, saying she was networking or hanging with coworkers. One time, she didn't come home until 3 a.m. I called her multiple times. She didn't pick up. When she finally stumbled in, half drunk, I asked if everything was okay, and she snapped, "You don't own me." That night, I couldn't sleep. Something just snapped in me. I thought, if she doesn't want to feel like property, maybe she shouldn't expect to be treated like a partner either. So I started pulling away. Stopped checking in. Stopped reminding her about rent being due or asking if she wanted dinner. I handled my responsibilities and left hers to her. She wanted freedom? Fine. She can also have the freedom to figure out how to live like an adult on her own terms. Funny thing is, it didn't take long before she noticed. She came home a few days later to an empty fridge and snapped, "You couldn't even pick up milk?" I just looked at her and said, "I thought you weren't my responsibility." She didn't respond at first, just stared at me like I had grown a second head. That was just the beginning. After that milk incident, I could feel the tension in the air every time we were in the same room. I wasn't trying to be petty. I was just done playing the role of the over-functioning husband while she got to coast on the excuse of not being anyone's property. I stopped reminding her of appointments, birthdays, family events. I used to take care of her car maintenance, booking the servicing, filling it up, cleaning it. That stopped too. I left her to figure it all out. If she wanted autonomy, I wasn't going to deny her that. But she'd also need to carry the weight of her own life, without leaning on me to silently handle the boring stuff in the background. You'd think someone so fiercely independent would thrive under that, right? She didn't. She began to notice that I wasn't asking her about her day anymore. No more, "How was work?" or "Want to watch something together?" I wasn't sitting beside her during her wine and Netflix sessions. I wasn't initiating intimacy. I didn't care what time she came home, or if she came home at all. She got upset, confused at first, then angry. "What's your problem lately? Why are you being so cold?" I replied, calm as hell, "I'm just giving you what you said you wanted. Independence. You said you're not my property, so I assume I'm not your keeper either. Handle your life the way you want. I'll handle mine." She stormed off, mumbling something about emotional abuse. I nearly laughed. For years, I had held the weight of this marriage quietly. Now that I'd let go, that was abuse. Over the next few weeks, cracks started to show in her so-called free life. She forgot to pay our electricity bill. When the power went out for 3 hours one night, she sat on the couch fuming. I lit a candle and read a book like it was a camping trip. She glared at me the whole time. She began missing deadlines at work. She used to rely on me for small things. I used to wake her up, set the coffee, prep her notes if she was running late. Now, I stayed in my room, minding my own business. When she overslept and missed a morning meeting, she yelled at me, said I should have woken her up. I just looked at her and said, "You're not my responsibility." She looked like she was going to cry, but instead just scoffed and slammed the door. That night, she didn't come home again. Here's the wild part. I didn't even care. The woman I had once adored now felt like a stranger who hated me for no longer catering to her while she pushed me away. I started to enjoy the silence. I cleaned only my side of the room. I bought groceries just for myself. I even cooked steak for one, which used to be our Friday tradition. She came home that night, saw me eating, and asked, "You didn't make any for me?" I shrugged. Didn't know I had to. That night, I caught her silently crying in the bathroom. I wasn't proud of how far we had fallen, but I didn't feel sorry for her either. I wasn't doing anything to her. I had simply stopped doing everything for her. She had demanded freedom, and now she was choking on it. I'll be honest, part of me was waiting for her to admit it. To say, "I took you for granted." To own up to the imbalance. Instead, the next day, she told me we needed to talk. She said she felt like I didn't love her anymore. I told her, love is a two-way street. You turned this marriage into a one-way exit ramp. And that's when things really started to unravel. After that conversation, the air in our home was permanently cold. Kira tried to have a few more talks, mostly circling the same theme. You've changed, you're punishing me, you're acting like a stranger. And every time, I'd calmly remind her that she wanted to be seen as an individual, not a dependent. But what she hadn't realized was that in trying to prove she wasn't mine, she slowly destroyed the ours. There was one moment that really sealed it for me. We were invited to her cousin's wedding, a fancy out-of-town weekend event. She assumed I'd handle the logistics as always, packing, booking the hotel, driving us both. When I told her she'd need to make her own arrangements, she was stunned. "You're seriously not coming?" she asked. "I'll go," I said, "but I'm not your travel agent." She ended up missing the wedding entirely because she booked the wrong date on the ticket and forgot her dress at the cleaners. She didn't even tell me. I found out later from her mom, who texted me asking if everything was okay. I realized then that she didn't just want independence. She wanted the illusion of independence with the cushion of being constantly supported. And the second that cushion disappeared, she couldn't stand on her own. A few nights after that, she finally admitted she was unhappy. "I don't feel like we're married anymore," she whispered. "It feels like we're roommates." "No," I corrected her. "We're bad roommates. Married people actually look out for each other." She looked me in the eye and said, "So that's it? You're just going to stop caring?" And I told her the truth. I didn't stop caring. I stopped carrying. You dropped the weight of this marriage on me while screaming about freedom. So I gave you exactly what you asked for. Silence. The next morning, she handed me an envelope. It wasn't divorce papers, not yet. It was a note. "I need to figure myself out. I think space is best for both of us." And honestly, I agreed. I didn't fight it. I didn't beg her to stay. I just said, "Okay, take your space." She moved out a week later, into a short-term rental paid for by her own money. The first time I saw her carry her own luggage to her car, the same woman who once refused to walk 5 steps to get a glass of water, I felt something I hadn't in a long time. Peace. In the months since, we've barely spoken. She texts now and then, usually small things, "Hope you're doing okay," or "I'm sorry for how I acted." I don't hate her. I'm not angry anymore. But I'm also not going back. I learned something important through all this. If someone demands freedom, you owe it to yourself to let them have it in full. That includes the struggle, the isolation, and yes, the responsibility. Because love isn't control, but it isn't blind sacrifice either. I used to be her anchor. Now, I'm just a man who finally let go of a sinking ship. I appreciate you watching till the end. Hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for more content.